Heretic is a film that many, myself included, were highly apprehensive about. With how sensitive the topic of religion has become in popular conversation, any depiction of it is likely to be fraught with controversy. And with how divisive the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is within the religious world, and how much it has been ridiculed in popular culture as a result, I think just about everyone who gave this movie a chance went into it nervous to see what it would have to say about its naturally contentious subject matter. Before seeing it myself, I heard lots of negative rumors about the film, probably started by individuals who hadn't seen it themselves but assumed the worst and weren't about to tolerate any depictions they didn't appreciate. But now, having seen it for myself, I can thankfully say that this movie is one that everyone should be able to appreciate. But as always, I'm just thinking out loud here, so if you like my brain vomit, you know where the like and subscribe buttons are. Now without further ado, let's dive into it. I want to apologize for being so late to the discussion with this one. I wish I'd made this video a long time ago, but it took me a while to get around to checking out this movie. Then, once I saw it, I really wanted to make a video about it, but I struggled to know what exactly to say about it. See, this is a film about Latter-day Saint missionaries that is not afraid to challenge the faith that it depicts. So, as a Latter-day Saint myself, I have thoughts about the theological questions raised in the film. However, since this channel is not dedicated to theological discussion, but rather discussions about storytelling, I want to do my best to stick to that perspective when sharing my thoughts on the film. So with all that said, while I don't intend to use this video to preach my beliefs or engage in debate with the film's arguments, I do believe my perspective as a member of the faith depicted in the film will allow me to provide some unique insight into the discussion. And let me just say right off the bat that I loved this film for its honest portrayal of our beliefs and culture and its nuanced approach to its material, which is what I want to talk about today. In this day and age, it seems any depiction of divisive subject matter in media is meant to take a stance, even has to take a stance to have any hope of appealing to any particular audience. In our tribalistic world, everyone wants their media to either affirm what they believe or be easy to demonize as the work of the enemy. As such, many audiences expected Heretic to be anti-Mormon or even anti-religion propaganda, tearing apart the beliefs of the people it depicts. But that is not what this film is. This video isn't going to break down all the arguments made in the movie, because I want you to see it for yourself, and a big part of what makes it so enjoyable is trying to figure out where the villain is going with his argument. But the film is really quite a nuanced discussion. It's meant to leave you thinking. I've shared before that lazy messaging in movies tells you what the filmmakers want you to think, while smart thematic movies merely raise thought-provoking questions and encourage you to ponder them for yourself. They may want you to come to a certain conclusion, but they do so by making a persuasive argument and leaving you to consider it. Heretic not only does that, but if the film has a central thesis, I think it is that you should do that with everything. You should be able to think for yourself, and not just believe what you're told to believe. In the channel Cinema Therapy's incredible video on the film, link in the description, they talked with the directors who described this film, not as a story about religion necessarily, but a story about certainty and confirmation bias. Yes, the movie uses religion as the focus of its discussion, and yes, it deeply challenges the religious beliefs of its protagonists, but it also challenges the arguments of its antagonist. Hugh Grant's thoroughly entertaining character goes to great lengths to systematically tear apart the entire worldviews of his victims. And no, they don't raise every possible counter-argument to his claims, because there are a couple of unprepared 20-year-olds more concerned with figuring out their tormentor's game and surviving his psychological torture than having an academic theological debate. He's a master manipulator who wants to make these missionaries doubt their beliefs. He wants them to think that everything they believe is just brainwashing, and he supposedly wants to force them to overcome their confirmation bias and think for themselves. But when the sisters do challenge him, they reveal his hypocrisy. They reveal his own confirmation bias, blinding him to any perspective but the one he is trying to force on his victims. They even seem to surprise him with arguments for their faith that defy his assertions that faith is just the result of brainwashing. Do they prove him wrong? No more than he proves them wrong. But by the end, the protagonists have chosen to defy his manipulation and boldly assert their beliefs as a deliberate and well-reasoned choice. At first glance, this looks like a movie challenging religion, but upon closer examination, I think it's just as much a movie challenging those who think the religious are the only ones who need to be challenged. Throughout the movie, Mr. Reed persuasively uses words and logic to make his case, but the two sister missionaries might make the more powerful point as they defy his arguments with their actions and character. While the intellectual fundamentalist here is a manipulative sociopath, the girls demonstrate their faith through their constant compassion. I want to give more examples, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so I'll just share one. Possibly my favorite moment in the film is within the last 10 minutes, when Sister Paxton acknowledges the lack of scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of prayers on the health of hospital patients, but she then argues that maybe that's not the point. Maybe there's just something beautiful about people coming together to turn their hearts outward to the needs of others. And then she offers a totally selfless prayer in the midst of this dire and horrifying situation. The sisters don't refute all of Mr. Reed's claims because that's not what the film is trying to do, but they do make a beautiful case for their faith in how they live it. This film isn't trying to take a stance for or against religion. Rather, it is just trying to get you to think more honestly and critically about whatever you believe. Now, I'm sure there are people of faith who will find this message threatening, but perhaps those people are really just insecure about their faith because they don't feel they can defend it. I, for one, do not believe what I believe, simply because I want to remain in the comfort of familiarity and tradition. I want the truth, and after much doubt, questioning, research, and examination, I, like the sisters in the film, have made my own well-educated personal choice to believe. Thus, I can watch a film that raises challenging questions without feeling threatened, and can ponder the story's themes from a perspective of faith. So, whether you are personally religious or not, whether you are a Latter-day Saint or not, and regardless of your feelings or experiences regarding religion in general or any particular denomination, I can wholeheartedly urge you to watch this movie, and then take the opportunity to examine your own beliefs and biases. Sincerely ask yourself why you hold your beliefs. Reevaluate them if you need to, and then logically choose for yourself. I am so grateful for films like this. Like with Alex Garland's Civil War, which I also recommended not too long ago, this is a film that addresses contentious issues in a way that everyone should be able to appreciate. That is meant to bring people together and encourage introspection in everyone, regardless of their views and affiliations. However, I feel like both of these movies have failed to reach a wide audience because we have become so closed off to media that we fear might not support what we believe. So if I may extend an invitation to all watching this video, it is this. Please watch movies that challenge you. Take the time to listen to those with whom you may not agree, and have the courage and humility to honestly examine your own beliefs. We tend to point the finger and assume everyone else is the victim of groupthink and confirmation bias, but the truth is, we're all victims here, and we all need to do better, because none of us are really as smart as we think we are. As always, I'm just trying to kick off the discussion, so please join me in the comments. What did you think of the film and its message? What perspective did you take into it, and what takeaways did it leave you with? I look forward to joining you down there, so until next time, never stay silent.